In person. That's the Mavericks here on your home for real country, Q94.1. There goes my heart. It is 6:42 on a Fabo Friday. Temperatures are what we've been wanting today. Matter of fact, into next week, the afternoon highs of 87. We just fired up the studio within the studio, and there is a stranger in here, but there are no strangers. There are just friends to be met, and the gentleman standing in the studio is Mr. Jeff Robinson from I almost said Sibley. Give me the, I'm losing the S-town. From Simsboro to Smackover. The man's got a vision. I understand you're going to build a monorail going from there?
We need one, yeah.
No, Jeff, good friend of Bill Brown, said, Rick, get him on your show. I said, what for? Well, I want people to know who Jeff Robinson is and what he's doing these days. So give me the elevator speech there. I just met you 10 minutes ago.
I was born here in Ruston, raised here in Ruston, 96 Ruston High School graduate, played football, went on to Louisiana Tech, graduated from Louisiana Tech in business in 2000, and been a lifelong Ruston, Lincoln Parish resident. Still live in, as you mentioned, Simsboro.
Simsboro, not Simboro, but Simsboro. And so the Smackover connection, tell me about that.
6 years ago, when I started working for myself and buying vehicles wholesale and selling them wholesale, I walked into Smackover Motors, a Ford dealership in Smackover, Arkansas, 10 miles north of El Dorado. And Rick, from the minute I walked in, I just felt it. I felt that it was a great dealership. Actually went to my dad when I left there, and I said, look, I walked into a dealership today that I could sure work for. And I had no desire to work in the new car business anymore, or a dealership for that matter. And it just grabbed me. They do stuff the real old-fashioned way with enough of the new technology to sustain business growth.
So Smackover Motors, tell us a little bit about Smackover. And I mean, I would dare say, and I've been there, it's been a while, but it's a charming town.
Very much so. We're outside on what they call the bypass when they moved Highway 7 out, moved Highway 7 to the west. Between El Dorado and Camden. So you don't actually, Smackover Motors is not in downtown. Downtown is about a half a mile to the east of us. And yeah, charming town would be just right. The only police officer stood in my office yesterday and said that it was his Mayberry. Which is about right. Brick streets. The two red lights or three red lights that are in town are the old ones that are in the middle of the four-way on a post. They have maintained those as well, so it is very much like Mayberry.
Well, who's Floyd the barber? Well, you don't need it, and I don't need it, right? So
that's right. Yeah, I'm not the guy to ask about a barber.
Right. All right, Jeff Robinson, our guest, getting a little up close and personal here on the Q Radio and 94.1, your home for real country. So as I'm posting up these pictures, it's Smackover Ford, but it's Smackover Motors. Help me understand the difference.
Well, it's the same thing, of course.
Okay.
But Smackover Motors, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, a lot of even franchise dealerships just used motors instead of the franchise themselves.
Right.
Because you had, Smackover Motors and Smackover. Proust Motor Company in Farmville was a Ford dealership.
There you go.
Bienville Motors in Arcadia was a Ford dealership. It was just I guess the way they did things back then, and they've never changed.
Well, I kind of like it, I mean, as you mentioned, combining the best of the old ways and enough of the new ways to make it, consumer friendly. Explain why somebody should get into that drive. You said it's only an hour from Ruston.
It is an hour. 64 miles from my driveway in Simsboro to the driveway in Smackover. It is we are a very old-fashioned, family-friendly dealership. Offer the same thing any of the big light dealerships do. We do believe that we have to change with the times, but there are some things that don't change and don't need to be changed.
People dealing with people.
That's right. Honesty, integrity, courteousness. Just being just being truthful and getting to know your customers as friends. I'll warn you, if you show up at Smackover Motors to buy, chances are one of the few of us up front that are in sales will greet you in either blue jeans and cowboy boots or short pants and tennis shoes. We're not flashy at all. We're comfortable. We're casual. We want to make you feel comfortable too.
Jeff Robinson's rocking the Cougar wear. Tell us about that. Obviously, you're invested and involved.
I am. My wife teaches there. We've had my son graduated. My oldest son graduated this past year. My wife had 2 kids that have already graduated. She has 2 left there, a sophomore and a junior, and I have a sophomore there. All 3 of them are heavily involved in our state champion powerlifting program, and I'm a volunteer CECP coach with the powerlifting team and a statistician on the football team.
How much do you sleep at night? How do you manage to? All right, one more thing. Jeff Robinson here on Q94.1. I'm posting up here. Smackover Motors does it again. Wins the President Award for the 17th time. Brag on that.
Well, and that's an old post.
Sure it is.
That is an old post too. The President's Award it's the highest honor, service-based honor that Ford Motor Company gives. You will see commercials from other dealerships bragging about their President's Award, which is something to brag about. Mm-hmm. It's something to note. The best-kept secret is Smackover Motors is a nationwide leading recipient. We have won 21.
That's great.
And I know it's the most in Arkansas, and I believe it's the most in Louisiana. It's top 5 nationwide as far as President's Award numbers go.
I love it. I love it. One final thing as we talk with Jeff Robinson here on the Q, I have friends in the auto business as well, and kind of emphasize that all you're asking for is an opportunity, because you know and I know your dear friends, your fellow teachers, they'll pull in a brand new car, but it may be from Dallas or Shreveport or somewhere else, and they have every right to do that. But if you would just only give the local dealer an opportunity, explain why that's so important.
Well, we're like I said earlier, Rick, we're big on being friends with our customers, and even the new ones. A stranger's a friend we just hadn't met yet.
Right.
And we want to get to know you, get to know your likenesses, and not upsell you on something you don't need. And that's not always the case in the big city because they might not ever see you again, and they don't have to. They don't feel like they have to give you 100% transparency and honesty. Something I will note is that I think is very, very impressive. Even through COVID, Smackover Motors never charged over MSRP for one single vehicle. And that is something to say.
That is something to say, and I know local dealerships here in Ruston haven't done that as well. And it is, they didn't take advantage of the time. So job well done. Closing thoughts, closing words, Mr. Jeff Robinson. You got to get off to work because you don't want to get fired your first week, right?
Yeah, that'd be bad to get fired on my first week. I'd encourage y'all all the listeners to give us a shot. I promise you, if you do, you'll be back. I can make you that promise, and as Bill Brown said on the telephone a couple of days ago, come on out of the big lights of the big city and come on out to the country where we got big deals.
Bill would say that. All right, Jeff, thanks so much, my friend. Thanks for coming by today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Jeff Robinson, a little up close and personal here on an up close and personal radio station, Q94.1. All right, there you go. We are killing the stream, and Jeff just walked off the set. My gosh, what a character. Boy, oh well, I'll see if I can find